Did you know there have been 5 ambush attacks on law enforcement in North Texas this year, but none have shocked the country like the coordinated attack on ICE officers at the Texas Detention Center on July 4th. Today, we're going to break down everything that happened and what it means for our law enforcement moving forward. Welcome to the Reaction Frequency TV. Today, we're covering a chilling incident at the Texas Detention Center in Alvarado, Texas, where ICE officers were targeted in a violent, well-organized ambush. This wasn't just a random crime, it was a coordinated attack, and federal officials are sounding the alarm. According to the federal authorities, a group of suspects dressed in military-style tactical gear attacked the detention center by launching fireworks and vandalizing the property. The graffiti include threats against ICE, terms like ICE pig and traitor, meant to lure the officers out.
Federal authorities provided new details about an ambush attack on officers at an immigration detention facility in North Texas. A police officer was shot in the neck outside the detention center in Alvarado Friday. Fox 4's Amelia Jones in studio with the latest tonight. Amelia.
Clarice, the Alvarado police officer who was shot is expected to recover. The Department of Justice says this marks the 5th assault on law enforcement officers in the northern Texas district this year. Nearly a dozen people are now facing multiple federal charges.
Make no mistake, this was not a so-called peaceful protest. It was indeed an ambush.
Monday, the Department of Justice shared new details on a shooting at the Prairieland Detention Center in Alvarado, south of Fort Worth. Officials say around 10:30 p.m. on July 4th, a group of 10 to 12 people dressed in black military-style clothing shot off fireworks and vandalized the facility.
They engaged in the graffiti, they damaged vehicles and a guard structure. The graffiti had such words as traitor, ICE pig, other profanity.
When the officers responded, gunmen opened fire at the police officers. One was shot in the neck, and dozens of rounds were fired at unarmed staff members nearby. The officer survived, but this was a clear, premeditated ambush. One suspect admitted to meeting the others online to make noise at the detention center. Further searches uncovered even more weapons, tactical gloves, printed anti-ICE materials, suggesting premeditated planning beyond just one night. Federal agencies are now warning about these increases in planned attacks, like many linked to online group coordinated in secret. The Department of Justice didn't hesitate, filing some of the toughest criminal charges available: 3 counts of attempted murder of a federal officer, multiple firearm charges tied to violent crimes. Prosecutions are saying that they will push for maximum penalties. Officials made it crystal clear that attack on law enforcement officers will not be met with the full force of the justice system.
Personnel, and it worked. 2 unarmed corrections officers went to speak with the vandals. Meanwhile, the group signaled a gunman nearby. Alvarado police responded to a 911 call at the facility. When the officer got there, he was shot in the neck, and another assailant fired 20 to 30 rounds at the unarmed corrections officers. When the suspects fled the scene, the Johnson County Sheriff's Office stopped a vehicle leaving the detention center.
There was a single driver in that vehicle. The sheriff deputy saw in plain sight a firearm. Another firearm was in the back seat, and there were 2 Kevlar ballistic-style vests also in that vehicle.
According to court documents, this driver told the sheriff deputy he met some people online and took them from Dallas to the detention center to, quote, make some noise. On the detention center property, sheriff deputies stopped 7 individuals near where the Alvarado police officer was shot.
Some were wearing body armor, some were covered in mud, some were armed, and some had 2-way radios on them.
When authorities searched the area, they found more body armor, spray paint, and flyers with anti-ICE messaging.
Over the course of the weekend, additional related searches occurred. We found masks, goggles, tactical gloves. We've one residence of one of the defendants. There was additional body armor. There was a cache of 9 additional weapons, spray paint, fireworks, and again, insurrectionist material.
The Department of Justice charged the 10 suspects with 3 counts of attempted murder of a federal officer and 3 counts of discharging a firearm in relation to a crime of violence. An additional co-conspirator is charged with obstruction of justice and conspiracy for attempting to conceal and destroy evidence in relation to the attack. He faces up to 10 years in prison.
This will not be tolerated. Those who use violence against law enforcement officers will be found and they will be prosecuted with the toughest criminal statutes and penalties that we have available to us.
Let's break down what these charges really mean. Attempted murder of a federal officer. This alone can result in decades behind bars, especially when firearms are involved. Obstruction of justice. This charge was added because the suspects allegedly tried to destroy key evidence after the attack. Beyond the specific case, there are broader implications. Growing risk for ICE and law enforcement officials nationwide. The role of online coordination in modern crimes. New legal debates about how to handle these organized assaults. Whether you agree with ICE policy or not, incidents like this raise serious questions about public safety and the future of detention facility security. Folks, what are your thoughts so far? Please, I'd like to hear what your thought process is. Drop them down in the comment. Like, share, and subscribe. This just wasn't a protest. This was a carefully planned ambush. Weapons, tactical gear, online coordination played a major role. Multiple suspects are now facing serious, life-altering federal charges. The outcome of this case could set a new precedent of how the DOJ prosecutes attacks against law enforcement going forward. But again, what's your take on this case? Is law enforcement doing enough to prevent organized attacks? Or do deep changes need to happen? Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe to Radar Frequency TV for more in-depth coverage and analysis like this. And please remember, always stay informed and engaged. Until we meet on the next one, please be safe.